Hi, I'm Latonya Denise, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do just a little soft glam, kind of a everyday look. And while I'll be talking about living with or taking care of a parent when they become ill. So stay tuned.
I gave you my heart.
So, for sake of time, I did my brows off camera as well as I kind of prepped my skin. So we're going to start with this Nars foundation, and it's shade Manaus. And I kind of just ordered this online, just kind of taking a chance of them sending the right color or shade. And I would say that I'm pretty happy with the shade. So, I'm going to just blend this in a little. Remember, tap, tap, tap. So I wanted to have a, just talk about living with a parent with Alzheimer's. So, approximately 12 and a half years ago, I would say, my mother began to have some signs of memory loss. So, when we would ask her about it, she would say, well, I'm really busy in the church. I have a lot of stuff going on. She was retired at that time, so it wasn't like, she had a job or anything that was, stressful. So, so we just kind of took it at that. She was really good at hiding it, really good at writing things on the calendar, kind of to like remind herself of what she needed to do. So approximately 12 years ago, her husband at the time had a stroke, and he couldn't really speak that well. So he was taken to the emergency, and he was in the hospital for a period of time, and he came home on with a lot of medication. So, we kind of helped her with, his meds, trying to sort out what, meds he should be taking at what time. And at that point, we could see, visibly see that she was struggling with the medication, that she was confused. So basically that the trauma of his illness really triggered her disease even more. So, so that just concerned us with all of the confusion that she had with the medication. So I contacted her primary care physician, and I had the same primary care physician, so I already had a rapport with him. So I just explained the situation that was going on, and just kind of, told him that, we were kind of concerned about, her confusion with the medication, since, she was going to be the one that really would have to be taking care of her husband during his illness. So, I would come over and kind of help her, with his meds, sort through the meds. But needless to say, even though we had our suspicion, the doctor confirmed that my mother had been diagnosed 6 months prior to that. So to today, me along with my siblings don't really know the reason that she didn't want to tell us, but we didn't know, and so that's how we had to find out. So what I just put on is concealer Tarte tape in the shade Deep, and then just to make it a little lighter up under my eye here, I put the shade Tan Sand. So Deep Tan Sand, just to make it a little lighter. And this is by Tarte. So I want to just explain the makeup and stuff that I'm putting on along with that. So now I'm going to take a beauty blender and kind of just blend that in. So so back to my mother. So her husband ended up passing away like a week later. He was going downstairs to, I guess, get something from the kitchen, and he just fell down the stairs, and I don't know if he suffered another stroke or if it was a heart attack or whatever. So that left my mother alone in the house. At the time, I had my own place with my son, and I would come over and stay the night, help her out, clean the house, because obviously with that trauma of losing her husband, that just made her illness just that much more prevalent. So I helped her out, and then about 10 years ago, 2010, obviously her disease began to progress. She got to the point where she couldn't, turn the stove on and things like that. So me and my son moved in here because if you know anything about Alzheimer's, the person does best in their current environment. So if you take them out of their environment, what they know, what they're familiar with, then it stands a chance for them to decline even further. I kind of did a lot of research on Alzheimer's, and basically, the disease comes in stages. So the average person with that disease pretty much progresses through the stages in about 10 years. So at this point, I'm fairly grateful that my mother has been able to survive with the disease for 12 years now. I would say approximately 5 years ago, she really started to decline to the point where she couldn't drive anymore. That whole thing about taking her car away was really traumatic for her, as well as for us, because she couldn't drive anymore. That took a part of her independence away. And then she was pretty functionable in terms of paying her bills. If she wanted something to eat, she could go to the grocery store, that kind of thing. So when she couldn't drive anymore, obviously that took that away. And then so I went with her to her physical about 5 years ago, and because I was just kind of concerned something just didn't feel right about her medication. If she was taking the medication like she should have been, was it consistent, what medication was she actually taking, all of that. So her blood pressure was up at the time of that appointment. So the doctor has said that she obviously had went a long period of time without taking her medication. So I felt like that was my opportunity to step in, because obviously I couldn't allow her blood pressure to continue to escalate. So her attorney prior had already told me that if she starts to decline even further, to get in contact with him, and then he would put things in place. So I hadn't experienced any of that before. I didn't know what that entailed or anything, so I just kind of let him know. He connected us with another attorney in the office. I guess that kind of handles guardians and conservatorship and that kind of thing. So they petitioned to court. A guardian ad litem came out, talked to her, talked to me, obviously because I was already here. My sister at the time actually wanted my mother to move to her house. So my mother told her guardian ad litem that she wanted to stay home. So because she said that, her guardian ad litem wanted to adhere to her wishes. So, which meant, because I was already here, that I would just take over. So did that cause some situations with my siblings? Yes, it did. But I'm just pretty much just doing what I need to do to keep her out of a facility, because I know that is really expensive, and to pretty much just keep her comfortable in the house that she's been in for years. This is my third year of being, pretty much over her. And due to the decline, it's almost currently like, she's just like my child. Like the role has reversed. So she took care of me, now I'm taking care of her. So in the beginning of my conservatorship and guardian, I had hired a lady to come in. So my mother was still able to get around the house, still had some independence. So the lady was like somebody who could just come in, a companion, somebody who would just come in, talk to her, give her some company and things like that while I was at work. Mind you, obviously I have to still work. I'm not able to just, be at home. So she stayed with her during the time that I worked. So the setting powder, back to my face, is Laura Mercier, just in case you don't know. So that's Laura Mercier. So I put that here and here and here, where every place I put the concealer. So I've shared in my other videos that any place you put like liquid foundation, cream foundation, you have to follow up with the powder. So right now I'm just kind of letting that set a little bit. So right now I'm going to just brush that off. And so back to the story. So she had a companion, they was somebody that she could talk to, that kind of thing. So then, my mother started to decline a little. Even then, the lady kind of called it, she's more childlike, blah, blah, blah. So she wanted to increase what I was paying her from $12 an hour to $20 an hour. And basically, she didn't really give me any kind of a heads up. It was just like, in about a week or two, whatever, I need to be, getting more money. It's requiring more work. She needs more assistance, blah, blah, blah. And she wanted, and this blush is the Saharan blush palette by Juvia Place. And I used the Neo shade, which is right here. So, so she wanted more money. So I expressed that to my aunt, who is my mother's only living sibling. And she had said, well, how about I come over and, I'll stay with her during the day while you work. So that was a blessing. And that helped out for about a year. And mind you, the lady was here. Her companion came for about a year. So my aunt came, and then I started to see some decline with her. So physically, she was having some difficulties going up and down the steps because we live in a colonial. So my mother sleeps on the 3rd level, and so that was a lot of walking. My aunt didn't really want to say that it was difficult, but you can tell it was difficult for her. Just in time when I started noticing that, my son was no longer at his job. So, it just kind of worked out. This was like the beginning of 2019. It just kind of worked out that, he would just stay here during the day and take care of my mother. So then there was some complaints, from my siblings that, she's just kind of sitting around all day. She's not interacting. She spends a lot of time with the TV, blah, 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 blah. So I called the Alzheimer'S Association, who is a really good resource and support, just to let you know. If you have anybody in your family or if you know anybody that's struggling with Alzheimer's, the Alzheimer's Association has all kind of resources. They'll even send a caseworker out, and we kind of had our put a plan in place of what we needed to do. So my mother, they gave me some resources, and she actually went to followed up, and she went to a daycare. She was going 2 to 3 days a week. So she got a chance to interact, with people her own age. And roughly she was there from about 10 to 3 when I took her. So needless to say, with COVID, they closed down. So and I don't think that they're open yet because they haven't called or to notify me that they're open. So during the whole COVID, she's pretty much been at home, and so it was a struggle because I is considered as an essential worker, so I had to still work. So that meant I had to make sure that I was keeping her safe. My son was off for a period of time, but then he went back to work. So, we both had to really make sure that we were not bringing anything in, and that we were keeping her safe and making, because obviously, the elderly population is more vulnerable. So, I'm just kind of thankful that, she was not in a facility during this time, because most of those people couldn't have visitors. And I, wouldn't have been able to visit my mother. So I'm kind of grateful and thankful that she is at home, so that I can, see her and make sure that, she's taken care of that way. So, the thing that I'm trying to get to is that, the Alzheimer's disease, it just brings about different challenges. And you just never know what challenge you're going to experience each day. I think she's getting to the, again, they go in stages. So I think, she's probably approaching late stage. Because, in my research, they say when the person gets starts to reach the late stage, they want to sleep a lot. Obviously she, when she's sleeping, then she doesn't know if she's hungry. So, we have to make sure she gets up and she eats, because that's the priority at this point, is to make sure that, we're keeping her safe and fed and her medication. And so we're keeping her alive pretty much, because, she would go a whole day if she could, or more, without even getting up and not even knowing if she's hungry, or that, you know, she slept a whole day away, because she doesn't know day from night, or, you know, how long she's been sleeping or anything. She doesn't know. So we have to be the one who makes sure that we're on top of that, and that she's getting what she needs. So I just wanna say that, you know, if you're experiencing that, maybe not with Alzheimer's, but with any kind of, you know, illness or anything that you find yourself having to take care of a loved one, make sure that, you know, you're reaching out to somebody to make sure that you're in a support group, or that you're able to talk to somebody who understands, who knows, because you're going to, well, I guess it just depends on the family or whatever, but a lot of times the caretaker is judged because the people on the outside don't really know what it entails to take care of that person, especially if you're not helping, if you're not around, if you're not doing anything to assist. Then it's so easy for people to judge the person that's actually doing it, because you're on the outside looking in, and maybe you would do it differently, but the point is you're not. So that's my thing. Make sure that you're reaching out to whoever you can, a professional person, whether it be a caseworker, whether it be a healthcare provider, anybody who will offer you support, because it's so very, very hard to do it alone, especially if you have a full-time job. And if you don't have a full-time job, at least that's my way out, my time away. It would probably be more stressful if I didn't have an opportunity to be away for 8 hours, because you're living it every single day without a break. So I just want to be a resource, kind of help somebody else out, because I just kind of learned along the way, through reading, through the internet, through the Alzheimer's Association, caseworkers, that kind of thing, and I didn't have any real guidance other than that to kind of assist me through things. So I just want to encourage you that if you're going through that, I know it's difficult, especially when you don't have help, and especially if you're being, you know, criticized, monitored, whatever, because you might be a little resentful of the fact that, you know, people like, well, why did you know, why were you chosen and not me? I mean, it's not really, to me, that's not really important. To me, it's making sure the person is taken care of, that person took care of you. If it was on the shoe was on the other foot, and my mother and I was away, and one of my siblings was here, or if my mother actually went to my siblings' home, I would make sure that I still had contact. I would still make sure that I was interacting, that I was doing things to help my mother regardless, because it's not about what's going on with the siblings, it's about the parent in need at the time. So any kind of unresolved issues or whatever from the past, whatever, that just needs to be put aside, and need to get counseling, whatever, because that's not the time to be addressing all that. The most important person is the person that needs care. So that's just, you know, my little, you know, feedback, a little tip. And maybe I could, you know, help somebody else along the way, support, whatever. It is difficult, like I said, because you never know what each day is going to bring. I just really take one day at a time, and really that's all I can do, is take one day at a time. So with that, I am going to put on my lashes and a little bit of lipstick, and hopefully this soft beat will be ready to show. So I'll be back. Right here, and I put it here, this side, and right here between here and the eye and the nose, and I put a little bit here on the lip. So now I'm going to finish up the lip with this MAC Cork liner. Next, I'm going to with this MAC lipstick in shade, I'll put it all in the description below. And then next, I'm going to put on this MAC Dazzleglass lip gloss, and it's shade Dress to Dazzle, just to give it a little shine. So that is the soft glam look. So I just want to say that hopefully the things that I've shared with you was helpful. Some takeaways would be to make sure that you're doing your research, make sure that you're calling it any agency you can for support, if you need a caseworker, if you need your own therapist, whatever. Make sure that you're getting what you need for you, because when you're taking care of somebody else, if you're not practicing self-care and something happens to you, then you're really no good to anybody. So that is my tips. Basically, you know, I had to give up a lot of things. I was bodybuilding and stuff prior, so I gave that up. And I just started doing makeup, and I started doing, you know, getting on Instagram more, doing YouTube videos, just, you know, to keep myself busy and to give, you know, myself something to do. So, yeah, take one day at a time. Every day is going to be different. Some days will be good, some days will be bad, but just keep in mind that if you practice self-care and you take care of yourself, you can give the person you're taking care of more than you would be if you was not taking care of yourself. So just think about what would happen to that person if you were not around to take care of them. My goal is to keep my mother out of a facility as long as I can. And when I can't do it anymore, I'll just have to recognize that and do what I have to do at that point. So again, I just take one day at a time and do whatever I have to do each day. So with that, comment if you have any comment suggestions for me. Comment below, like, subscribe. If you're going through a similar situation, maybe we can help each other out, because I don't have all the answers. So each person is different. Each person brings about, you know, different symptoms. So with the disease, or any disease, for that matter. So, you know, as long as when we're living longer, our parents are living longer. Again, they took care of us, so it's just our responsibility to make sure that they're taken care of. At least that's how I feel. So with that, hopefully you like this soft glam along with while I was talking, and who knows, you know, what steps I missed along the way, but hopefully you did get something from it. So with that, I will see you next time. Bye bye. Take care.